Goeiemorgen. Good morning, fellow South Africans. And it's always interesting to see developments that are happening in other African states, which are further down the track with China. And once again, we're looking at Kenya. And what we're talking about is a silly little fish called a tilapia. And China is bringing in thousands of tons of tilapia into Kenya, undercutting the local market hugely and causing about 100,000 Kenyans to be out of work. This is how colonisation works on stealth. Now, not only that, but apparently the tilapia that come from China, they're a lot cheaper, but they taste like plastic. And you've got to ask why. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you a couple of extracts from articles related to this, because the interesting issue here is that the Kenyan president has now said we are going to ban Chinese tilapia, and the Chinese automatically reacted by saying, that's fine, but we're going to cancel some loans that we've given you. And that came from the Chinese ambassador in Kenya. Now, this is the state of play in Africa. China, they get a financial hold over you, and then they start putting the boot in. And if you try and resist them, they just say, okay, we'll just withdraw our funding. This is how China plays. They're not doing what they're doing for the benefit of the people of Africa. They're doing it to colonize Africa. And I'll read you a couple of extracts now from articles which are in Kenyan newspapers. Okay. So, the first one is from the headline, How China Fish is Threatening to Drown Kenya's Fish Industry. As I say, it sounds like a crazy little issue, but, you know, fish is a huge part of the diet of Kenyans. And it's now been hijacked by the Chinese. The article says, from a vantage point at Kisumu's Jubilee Market, one enjoys a picturesque view of Lake Victoria, Africa's largest freshwater lake. Interestingly, traders at the market, fondly known as Chiro Ombero, or small-scale market, are selling fish harvested from ponds and smaller lakes in China, thousands of miles away. Lorries from Mombasa offload frozen tilapia every morning, even before local fishermen return from the lakes with their small catch, sometimes with empty nets. A biting shortage of homegrown fish from the lake has created a gap now filled by a multi-billion shilling market for the China-bred fish. Meanwhile, the Lake Victoria fisheries have warned that the situation is worsening daily. Statistics from the Kenyan Marine and Fisheries Research Institute show that fish production in the lake has plummeted by 50% in the past decade. Clearly, overfishing. At Jubilee, the biggest fish market in Kisumu, 70% of dry and fresh tilapia sold to customers is from China, which are significantly cheaper than the lake fish. Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute research shows that Lake Victoria's fish stocks on the Kenyan side have dropped to 2,500 tons annually from 5,000 tons due to overfishing, illegal fishing, fishing and breeding grounds, water hyacinth, and pollution. The impact of imports from China has already been felt. The massive fish imports from China led to job losses in the fish industry, both in Western Kenya. The imports have also flooded the coastal towns. Statistics from Kenya National Bureau of Statistics show that China's fish exports to China hit the shilling 1 billion mark in 2015, a figure that may double by the end of this year. According to statistics, imports grew by 60.2% to shillings 1.02 billion in 2015 compared to just over 500,000 shillings in year 2014. Last week, fishermen in Mombasa appealed to Industrialisation and Enterprise Development Cabinet Secretary Adam Mohammed to ban the imports. But Mohammed defended the fish imports, saying they have been necessitated by market demands. He said Kenya's fish production cannot meet the high demand due to dwindling catches. Mr. Mohammed said fish farming had not helped to bridge the gap due to the shortage of fish feeds. And so it goes on, but you can get the gist of what I'm saying here. But what happened was the president of Kenya stood up and said, we're going to ban these Chinese fish imports because they're destroying the employment of our local Kenyan people. As I said, tens of thousands of Kenyans are involved in this industry, which are now being put out of work. But of course, China had an answer to that. And of course, the government, as a result, put up the white flag. High above, put up the white flag. And they're now allowing Chinese tilapia to continue to come into Kenya. And this article explains why. The article is headlined Why Government Suspended Ban on Chinese Fish. Kenya on Thursday temporarily suspended the ban imposed on imported Chinese fish. According to a document seen by Kenya.co.ke, the Acting Director General of Kenyan Fisheries Services, Susan Emende, stated that the ban was set to take effect in January 2019. But it was temporarily put on hold as the government sought a way forward on the matter. This is to inform you that the same has been put on stay, to allow further consultation, assessments, and development of frameworks for handling tilapia imports, said Emende. The ban was issued on Tuesday through a letter to the Chinese embassy, sought to stop the importation of a specific species of tilapia from China. This is to notify you that all fish imports for Oreochromis nolicotonus tilapia will not be approved in the country with effect from January the 1st, 2019, read a part of the letter. The directive to stop importing the fish from the Asian country was given by President Uhuru Kenyatta, who reiterated that the government had to find a way to curb the influx of the fish in the market. The move by the government was seen as an act of war by acting Ambassador Li Qiang, who highlighted that China would react in the same way it reacted to the US when President Donald Trump imposed tariffs on Chinese goods. The threat by the economic powerhouse was seen to pose a problem for the SGR construction loan Kenya sought in order to advance the Naivasha-Kisumu phase, which is now suffering a setback. So the SGR is actually part of the Kenyan railway line. And of course, guess who's funding it and guess who's actually working on it? The Chinese and China. No Kenyans are involved in this project. All they do is they clean the toilets. And I've got an earlier video which actually confirms that fact. Kenya is being colonized. It's very, very sad. And now the Kenyans are going to be forced to buy these Chinese tilapia fish which taste like plastic. You can imagine what they've been fed on. This is what is going on in parts of Africa where the Chinese have now got their foothold in there and they're now starting to colonize. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed and have a great day. Take care, guys. Bye for now.
Because some of these debts, like the Chinese debt, you will find that the funds actually do not come here. All the equipment, the machinery, the items that they use to do the projects locally, and the companies are all Chinese. So in essence, Kenya really does not benefit from, the economy does not really absorb some of these debts in totality. And I think there's a bill that I've already drafted in Parliament where we want to give Parliament powers to scrutinize the kind of debts that the country is procuring. And some of these debts, if you check, some of these...
Will you manage to control that? Because in the past you've not been very successful.
I think the issue,
controlling what the executive wants to do.
The issue is that the Jubilee government decided to weaken Parliament's oversight in the area of procuring of debt. The Parliament does not have a role in debt procurement and management, and I think that's what we need to revive. So that when we procure debt of $500 million or let's say 5 billion from China, then Parliament must know in this debt how much is going to be used to buy goods locally.
Right.
Because if that debt is going to be used to import things from outside, then the economy will not be able to.
I think, Mheshimiwa, what we need to do as a country,
yes,
just like we get into agreement like AGOA, where we know this country gets this from us, we get this from them. Now that we have decided we want China as our partners in trade, we need to get into a very official agreement. What we can get from them, what we can't get from them.
And the question I want to ask you is, bearing in mind that the balance of trade was so much skewed in favor of China, 390 billion shillings versus 10 billion shillings, do you think such kind of protests, such kind of indications that we are now rejecting tilapia from China are going to jeopardize the deals that Kenya might want to sign?
No, I don't think it will jeopardize. Just like as we have seen, the president is going there now to discuss what we need to export. Because if we have a big market, it's only that you have not taken advantage of it. You know, just like China has a big market here of industrialization because we are backward on that and producing other manufactured goods. If you have a big market for our agricultural product, you know, China is such a big population that we can't even satisfy their population with what we produce here locally. So I think the president has taken the right direction now to go to them and ask them, my brothers, you are bringing so much to our country. What can we bring here? So I think we don't need to complain now about the balance. We just need to note it and wait for the negotiations now that the president is going to do with China so that we can know what we need to take to China as a country. So
finally, you raised some issues that you're complaining about, the products that come from Central and Mount Kenya region. Have you in any way discussed that and taken a memorandum to the executive on what they need to do about your products?
What has happened, Sam, is just like I've said, and I think my brothers will just listen to me, because if we say today, if the president stands today and say, look here, we had budgeted 3 billion to save maize farmers in this country, where is that money? It's a very good statement that if people misuse it, well and good. But when he has that statement and I go to the village, my people ask me, Mheshimiwa, 3 billion to save maize farmers, where coffee farmers we are dying, or tea farmers we are dying. When we see the president in Mumias or anywhere saving a collapsing sugar factory, my people normally ask me.
No, my question is specific. What have you done? Your people have told you, but so what have you done?
We've clearly stated, and that's why we were in Naivasha 2 days ago, and people have started reading so much politics in it, but that was a discussion.